Welcome to Curated by Culture. I'm your curator, Cassandra. Thank you as always for joining me. Um, how's your head? How's your heart? I pray you're doing well in the midst of the world and life and all the things that are going on. I really do. I pray you're doing well. Um, the the Bible says in Hosea 4 and 6, my sisters are going to be so excited that I am citing scripture. Hosea 4 and 6, it says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And I think I posted that on Instagram. I don't remember. I posted it. And it's been sitting with me a lot lately, especially as I'm sharing these messages, as I'm creating these episodes, or as I'm having conversations about these things in the world and with people who may not know better. It really has been sitting with me. And it's like something that God has kind of put on me. He's like, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Like they really don't know. And so, that's what a lot of these episodes this season has been about. It's the lack of knowledge and the lack of awareness that we have as a people. And the liberation, the part that makes us aware, like this is the goal of this. I want you to be aware. I want you to liberate your minds. I want you to liberate yourselves and then reach back and liberate others, right? That's the whole goal. That's what it should be about. But we are not there. Sadly, I don't think we're there, and I don't know. I think it might take a long time for us to get there, if I'm being honest. So on the episode, the Love That Patriarchy Built, I talked about the patriarchal system. I talked about all these good things and shared a lot of detailed information. And then I was met with some comments, and I was like, wait, what? All of this that I said, and this is what you got from it. So I did make notes, and I'm going to probably pull them out eventually, but I want to just speak from my heart right now, what I'm thinking. Someone had said something to the effect that, oh, why are you criticizing how women dress? And I think the entire message was lost. Now, mind you, it was a new follower, a new listener, so I can understand that. If you are new to this channel, to this podcast, to me, understand this. I'm a Black woman. I am never going to criticize another Black woman. I have been up, I have been down, I have been around, I have done the things you've done, I've done other things that you probably haven't done. I've lived a very full and rich and colorful life. So for me to pass judgment on anybody would be crazy. Okay. I simply stated, it wasn't a judgment and it wasn't a criticism, it was a truth, right? I simply stated that, you know, if you put your body on the internet, that's all you're going to attract. That's a truth. On the flip side of that, I will also say, and I have said this before, if you lead with your intelligence, you are now both beauty and brains. You are now both a triple threat. You have a great body, you have brains, and you're beautiful. I think your body's beautiful if you think your body's beautiful. If you don't like it, I still like it for you because I'm like, well, you're made in his image. So please don't miss the messages that I'm sharing, focusing on one thing because you feel like I was trying to attack you. I don't attack people. That's not my ministry. I'm not a mean girl. I despise mean girls. I will always share truth. I will never share judgment. So to continue on that conversation, because you brought that up, I do want to talk about that, the thought process, right? Look at Method Man and what he said in a song years ago. You're out in the world rocking 3/4 of cloth, never showing your stuff off, boo. That is how men think. That's the reality. And that's also part of a patriarchal system. Since we're here, let's talk about it. Purity culture, rape culture, that's all part of patriarchy. And to go back to what I said, that's an anti-Black system. That's not for Black men either. Black men have adopted the conversation. Absolutely. They've adopted, oh, if you got a lot of bodies, then, I don't want you. That's a purity culture thing, and that's a patriarchal system thing. And again, that's not for us. When the colonizers came to colonize over the indigenous land, the indigenous people of this country, America, they raped women. Those women weren't being raped by their own men. When they went to Africa and they did it, those women weren't being raped by their own men. Rape culture comes from the patriarchal system. It's only been adopted because it's all that Black men have seen. And if you see other people getting away with it, why wouldn't you adopt it? That's just a thought process. That's just a reality. It's a sick reality, but it's a truth. So again, I go back and let me finish that part of my statement. I don't judge other women. You know, do what you do and do it proudly. If you want to wear nothing, wear nothing. But when you only attract a certain kind of man, especially when you're looking for love or you're looking for marriage, you can understand why. Men don't want that. Take out the patriarchal system altogether. Men don't want that. That's just the truth. All the men I know, they're like, no, I don't want my wife's business out on the street. A good man does not want a woman who puts her business all over the internet. That's just the truth. I'm not saying you can't wear a cute little crop top or something. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about being half naked on the internet. It's not a judgment. It's just the truth. I don't judge you. If you have a body to do it, I'm like, yes, sis, get it. I'm clapping for you. I'm in your likes. I'm liking it. But I'm not liking it for the same reason as the men. Okay? I'm liking it because confidence, amazing. Picasso, beautiful, amazing. So that's the first thing I wanted to say. I had to leave with that because I would never want anybody to think that I would be coming out as a judgment. But to go back towards the patriarchal part of it, the system that is not designed for us, it's an anti-black system. The system that's not designed for us, and to add in the idea of purity culture, right? These same men who embedded this type of culture into our society are the same men who also embedded sexuality straight in our faces all the time. It's the same group of people, and it's not us. It's not people who look like me, black men, black women. It's not us. The part that pushes the sex and all that stuff, that's a patriarchal system that does it. But then they tell you, oh, you have to have purity. Oh, you have to, right? So they'll marry a woman who's never had another man or who's never been with another man, but they will rape and lust after other women. But they'll tell you, oh, you have to have this. And then it's embedded in our culture, in our society. Something I always say, black women identify as black women first. Black men, unfortunately, most of them, not all of them, some of them, not most of them, but some of them identify as men first. And then they adopt their blackness. They're like, oh, but I'm a black man. Which is why we can't, this is why we can't get together. This is the crux of why we cannot get together. This is why we can't agree on things, because we can't see that this system was designed absolutely against us, not for us. It was literally designed to destroy us. The goal is to destroy us. When that man says, make America great again, he's talking about slavery. He's talking about way back when they controlled us. And this entire thing is a game of control. You don't believe me? I'm going to give you a whole bunch of points to see it. There's a movie, a TV show. It's a book, actually. There's a TV show, but it was a book called Handmaid's Tale. If you've never watched it, I think I've mentioned it before, but essentially it's a patriarchal system where a bunch of white men have choice of who their wives are. They pick beautiful women, but a lot of these women are barren. They can't have kids. So now in the process of having that, they fill their homes with a bunch of women, not for all of them to sleep with. Understand, they can sleep with whoever they want, but they have their wives. But one woman carries the baby, one woman does the shopping, one woman does the cleaning, one woman is like a handmaid to the wife or to the man. It's a patriarchal system, and it is becoming a reality. Like, as strange as the show sounds, or if you've watched it, as strange as it is, it's becoming a reality. And they're turning them into laws. Like Texas just passed a bill, or SB 8 is what I think it's called, if you're not paying attention, where if a woman is pregnant and she decides she wants to have an abortion and she has it, the doctor who does the abortion will be fined $100,000, life in prison, and lose their license. The woman will be charged $10,000 and life in prison. At the same term, recently, just like a week ago, this man drugged his wife because she was pregnant and he did not want to have the baby, and he received 180 days in jail. No fines, no slap, no nothing else, just 180 days in jail. Now you tell me what kind of sense or what kind of system that is. In Missouri, some male senators are working to create a law that even if you are a minor, 13, 14, 12, 11, 10, whatever, and you are raped or you are a victim of incest, you must carry that baby. One of them even went so far as to say, oh, this is like back in slavery, or that will help them to clean themselves or clear their minds. Whatever he said, something weird to that effect, something to the effect of it'll help them mentally or something. But you have to carry the baby. You have to have the baby. So a woman senator then suggested, okay, well, let's play fair. If 11, 12-year-old girl, 14-year-old girl has to have a baby, let's do the same for the boys. If they do that, they must have a vasectomy. And they went crazy. They were like, what? You can't tell a man what to do? Patriarchal system. And it's working. It's going to pass. These things are passing. Right before our very eyes, these things are passing. That is The Handmaid's Tale. That is literally what it's about. And it gets worse and worse. Every season, it gets worse and worse. You're watching some women try to fight the system. And listen, in The Handmaid's Tale, there are not too many Black people. There's a reason. There's a reason why. There's a reason. They work down in these minds that are basically killing them. You might find a sprinkle of some Black women here and there being meant to carry the kids. And understand, the kids, if they're men, they will grow up in the society. They can take over. They can make the laws. They can run everything. But if you're a woman, you're going to be put to same practices. You're either going to be chosen as a wife, chosen as somebody to bear children, chosen as a housekeeper, chosen as somebody to do the shopping. Like crazy. But it's a reality. That's why they're building these cop cities. And I'm going to talk more about Cop City in a minute, but that's why they're building them. Because then they can take us down easier. They can take the strong ones down easy. Months ago, I think it was back in the summer or right before that the whole situation that's happening in Palestine, there was a conference. It was a Jewish conference in Atlanta. And there was a woman who said, our biggest threat are the young Black people. That's what they believe, and that's what is true. Unfortunately, we don't know that. We don't know that we're the biggest threat. We are destroyed for lack of knowledge. We don't know that we're their biggest threat because we can't even organize ourselves. We will still sit up here and debate purity culture. We will still sit up here and say, oh, I don't want a woman who has a bunch of bodies, or, they are controlling us with these narratives, these red pills, all the stuff that I talked about. They're controlling us with these narratives and we don't even see it. They're doing it right in our faces and we don't even see it. I mean, and it blows my mind. It really does. The control system is also a system. I'm sorry, I was just looking at something. The control system is also the system of, they tell us what to do and when to do it, and we follow. And as much as people will tell you, and I've said this a million times now, don't celebrate Thanksgiving, don't celebrate Christmas, don't watch the Super Bowl, that's coming up right in a couple of days. Don't celebrate Valentine's Day. These are control systems. You know why they have to have these systems in place? First, they need to control you with what you do and when you do it, right? Second of all, they don't want you to think about the real life scenarios that these things are. Thanksgiving was a massacre. They killed people. They don't want you to mourn with those people. They want you to celebrate that they did that. Christmas is a pagan holiday, as is Halloween. They've even embedded that stuff in the church. So you can follow it. Oh, Jesus was born in December on this day. Exactly. Jesus is the reason for the season. And you just fell for it. Control. And on top of that, they said, and buy each other gifts. I hope you guys looked up what Saturnalia is, because that's literally what that was. It's a pagan holiday. But they have the pastors to feed you this BS because they told the pastors, this is what it is. Do it. Push it. It's a patriarchal system. It's a way to control us. They're going to have you to sit and listen. They also need that money to fuel their economy, to fuel their wars, to fuel their cop cities, to fuel their dreams and their aspirations of making America great again. That's how they do it. They're going to push the Super Bowl on you. You know how much money they make off the Super Bowl? I think last year was like $23 billion. They're going to make you to watch this while they're killing people. They're constantly killing people in Palestine. They're going to make you to watch this while they do that. And they took it a step further, right? So let's go back to Colin Kaepernick. Since we're talking about the Super Bowl, I might as well put this in there. And I'm sorry if I'm all over the place. I'll try to get back here. Colin Kaepernick kneeled for what was happening to Black people and was blackballed. And we were angry with him for a minute, but they control us. So what did they do? They said, oh, we got to get one of the Blacks. And when they say the Blacks, that's racism, just FYI. That we got to get one of the Blacks to help us to sell this. Let's choose a powerful Black. And they plucked Jay-Z straight out of Marcy Projects. And he wasn't in Marcy Projects at the time, but you get my point. He's Black. And they said, Jay, do this with us. And Jay-Z got in front of your faces and said, yeah, I think we're beyond kneeling. What? What are you talking about? And at first, and I'll, complete transparency here. When he first did it, I said, "Oh, this is strategic. It has to be. He's a smart businessman, but he's a black man. He's a black man. He's not gonna be okay with that. He's a smart businessman. He's trying to infiltrate the system from inside, which is what I thought he would do. No, he went along with it. And as a result, he brought in your favorites. Your favorites. He brought in your favorites to perform for you for free because they don't make any money. But Jay-Z runs the show. So we must tune in. And we did it. As sure as water is blue, well, the ocean, not water. As soon as the ocean waters are blue, or the sky is blue, or grass is green, we all tune straight in. And just like that, our protest and our standing in solidarity with Colin Kaepernick was destroyed and has been destroyed every year since. And here we are approaching yet another Super Bowl where everybody will tune in and everybody will watch while they kill innocent brown people and while they build these cop cities. Because understand that $23 billion, those people, the NFL stands with Israel. They said, you can kneel. You all should kneel. Take a knee for what's happening in Israel. Not for black people. Don't take a knee for that. That you will get blackballed. Take a knee for what's happening to these lily white people. And no disrespect to white people. Like, I'm not doing this again. That $23 billion, those people, they support Israel. You want to rah-rah and cheer for Jay-Z and Beyonce, they support Israel. Their silence tells you that. Beyonce adopted liberation culture for one of her Super Bowl shows, and it made everybody angry. And we all believed, well, that's it. They gave us the black stuff, the black is beautiful, the this and that and this. And the second it was time to stand with brown and black people, they were like, who? They crossed picket lines. We already talked about this. She didn't take her movie out of Israel. She wouldn't even put up a flag. But you know what she did do in your faces? She went to Brazil and she put up a Brazilian flag. She literally smacked you all. And she will sell you something and you will run towards it because you are destroyed for lack of knowledge. The Super Bowl and those people will fund Usher. He's performing at the Super Bowl. He literally posted, I stand with Israel. Make it make sense. Wake up before it's too late. Because Israel is literally, on top of killing those brown people, they are funding these cop cities. Just the other day in Lacey, Washington, Google it, because I can't keep, I don't want you guys to call me conspiracy theorists and you think I'm lying. In Lacey, Washington, they approved and they are going to start breaking ground on a huge facility, another cop city in Lacey, Washington. And understand something. They're putting these in mostly Democratic states where they're mostly black people for a reason. And I really hope you guys get to hear this message because we know YouTube is owned by the Zionists, but they're putting them in these predominantly black areas so that they can suppress us. They can keep us down where they need to keep us. $60 million is going to go towards that cop city. 12 acres of land is going to be, they're going to start deforestation on 12 acres of land. So on top of killing us, they're also trying to kill the planet. So whatever. But if they kill us, who cares about the planet, right? But that's happening right in front of them. And that's with the Super Bowl money. They're going to control you with Valentine's Day. They've sold you. And they put this in the church too. They're going to control you with Valentine's Day and say, you have to spend this money. $26 billion is how much they made off of Valentine's Day last year. Victoria's Secrets is owned by Jeffrey Epstein's homeboy. Known pedophile, known everything. Probably still alive, chilling someplace because he has so much dirt on so many people. I doubt that he's really killed himself or he's dead, but whatever. Now I'm becoming a conspiracy theorist. $26 billion. Russell Stover, owned by BlackRock, Vanguard. Same people who own everything else. It's all a control game, and you guys keep playing into it because you are destroyed for lack of knowledge. So destroyed that you're going to do these things and you're going to feed into their systems, but you're like, oh, we're protesting. We're protesting. You're not protesting anything if you keep doing the things that they tell you to do. They're controlling you. Control is part of that patriarchal anti-black system. The same one I keep talking about, the same one I can't stop talking about. And I wish I had more than 30 minutes to talk about it, but your brains will only allow you 30 minutes of truth. And then you're like, oh, what is she talking about? And they, like I said, they will always pick the right people to put in front of you. They put Jay-Z in front of you. And at the same time, this is the same Jay-Z who just recently accepted an award at the Grammys. He went to the Grammys to accept this Lifetime Achievement or something award, or Dr. Dre or something, who knows, award. But when he went up there to give his speech, he criticized because his wife, who's got the most Grammys, never received an album of the year award. And he's like, make it make sense. And and we were all like, yes, Jay-Z, he's speaking, keep going, give him more time. What are you talking about? Why was he even there? If you know that's how you feel about it, you should have said, yeah, thank you, I will be there, I will receive it, and protested it and not shown up. You do nothing. Like, one of those things negates the other thing by you showing up and taking the award. If you're really angry about it, don't show up. Make a public statement about it. Don't be in their crowd going like this. But this is billionaire, mentality. This is why I say he identifies as a man first. He forgets his blackness in all of these situations. When you cross the picket lines, when you side with the Super Bowl or the NFL, when you do these things, you forget your blackness. This system is not designed for us, not even the billionaires. And when the time comes, and trust me, the time will come, they will drop them too, unfortunately. You all were screaming for Killer Mike. Oh, Killer Mike won these 3 Grammys, and then they arrested him. Okay, I'm excited for his Grammys. I do not want to see a black man arrested. And please, these are not judgments against these people. Everyone should be open to not criticism, but hey, I want to hold the mirror up. I want to remind you of where you came from. You talk about coming from Marcy Projects. You talk about coming from this in Atlanta and these things, but yet when you get to a place, you forget to reach back for the people who got you to this place. You forget to reach back for the people who look like you. We all angered and enraged for Killer Mike, but Killer Mike is the same person who openly campaigned against Stacey Abrams. And now look at what's happening in Atlanta. We are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Look at what happened in Atlanta. He sided with Kemp. He was like, yeah, he had lunch. He met with him. He openly campaigned against Stacey Abrams, and we're all silent. We are all angry what they did to him at the Grammys, and I am too. Because again, I don't judge my people. I love my people. I just wish we were doing better. I wish we could understand our power better so we can take it and use it for the greater good of the world, of humanity. But we won't, because we're greedy. This is all about greed. Down to the churches, down to what the pastors are teaching you. Everything that the pastors have been taught to teach you is part of a patriarchal system. They told you, they talk about, they started, because prosperity churches were not a thing when Jesus was around, right? They started the prosperity churches and they ran with it. Then they plopped somebody up like Thomas Sexter and they gave him the title of bishop. And we've watched what he's done. He's lined his own pockets. He's out for his own self-interest, just like these other big churches, Joel Osteen, Billy Graham, these people who we know are criminals, right? Let's call a spade a spade. That's not Christianity. None of that is Christianity. None of what we're seeing is Christianity. We are living in godless times right now. I remember when pastors they came from humble beginnings and they were spreading the good message of God, and they had these little storefront churches. Shout out to Life Giving Church of God in Newark, New Jersey, Pastor Neville Johnson, my mom's church. I'm always going to shout them out because that is a man of God. But it's all turned around. The same pastors who had nothing now have money, and they Gucci down to the socks, baby. Down to the socks. They got private jets. They're selling you what used to be Wednesday night Bible study. They selling that to you as like, oh, Bible University or something like that. They removed spirituality from the church. It's all capitalism and materialism. Hence why they are dressed in the cheapest, most expensive clothes. Cheap made, poorly made, low vibration, right? We know high vibrational clothes because the Bible talks about it. Pure linen, wool. We know high vibration clothes. They're not even wearing that. They're wearing these poorly, cheaply made clothes that have a pretty price tag. And look at me. Look at my Gucci. Look at my Fendi. Look at my Loewe. Look at all these labels I'm able to afford and wear. Chase it. You got pastors telling people to create content, make content. They're selling content creation courses. They're selling you all these things. They're not selling you rest. They're not selling you Jesus. They're selling you these other things. And sure, they're having Sunday service, but the message is really self-help, which is so sad because what they're selling you is already in you. You just don't realize it because they have to keep you coming back. They have to keep you filling those seats up. And I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for this because I know some of the pastors flock. Listen to me. But it's the truth. It's the truth. And we need to talk about it. And it's not a judgment. It's not a criticism. It's a change your ways before it's too late. Get back to God. Everything these pastors are selling you is because they have the audacity to sell it to you. They know how to change the tone of their voice to get you to really feel like, oh, yeah, this is true. That stuff is already in you. God put it in you. He put your worth in you. He put your confidence in you. He put your gifts in you. You don't need these men to pull it out. You need to find God. So God can say, hey, now go do what I told you to do. Go go use your gifts that I told you to use. And you will find prosperity. Don't miss that part. You will find prosperity if you lead with God. You will find it. You don't need these pastors to tell you that. You definitely don't need to give them 10% of your money for that to happen. Which leads me to the prosperity part. That's a patriarchal system. Look at it. It's like a tax. 10% of your earnings should go to the church. That's a tax. They don't pay taxes, PS. The churches don't pay taxes. And the pastors don't even have jobs anymore. Like I remember back in the days, the pastors, like Life Giving Church, Pastor Johnson, he has a job. The pastors don't have a job, which is weird because Peter was a fisherman. Jesus was a carpenter. These men had jobs. They were spreading the good word of salvation of Jesus Christ in the streets because that's what they were told to do. They weren't saying, oh, and make money off of it, but I'm not going to get into that because you guys don't want to hear it. It's really sad to see, you know, they're causing you, Nana, they're taking all Nana's money. Nana is broke now. Nana has given her whole life savings, 10% of her life savings to the church, and the pastors have private jets. They have all the nice clothes. Yes, maybe Jesus does love a cheerful giver. I won't debate that. But not in the way you think, not in the way you've been conditioned to think, and not in the way they taught you. He means do right by others, do well for others. If you see somebody hungry, feed them. If you see somebody naked, clothe them. That's the way you should be giving. It's a weird time we're living in, guys. Patriarchy is really taking over. It's really controlling us, and we can't even see it. It's right in front of our faces, and we can't even see it. We're not even awake enough to say, okay, wait a minute. I got to get out of the matrix. The second I got out of the matrix, I started talking about getting everybody out. I was like, oh no, I got to get everybody out. I started with my family first. Of course, I was like, get out of the matrix, get off their apps, get off their things, stop doing these things. Let's stop celebrating. I've been on this for a long time. I'm not new to any of this. God was the one who was pushing me to come and do this because he was like, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Get them out. Open their eyes before it's too late. We stopped idolizing and worshiping God, and we started idolizing people. The second somebody has a blue check next to them, oh, I'm listening to that. I agree with that. That's what it is. And it's not. It's not what it is. These people with blue checks just have it because they were willing to sell their souls. That's the reality. Even the pastors with the blue checks, they were willing to sell their souls to make money, to live a better life just for them, not for anybody else. And again, it's not a criticism. I think we should all be living good lives. God wants his best for us. But at what cost? Do people have to die for it? Valentine's Day and the companies, the $26 billion and the companies that these companies, the things that these companies support are killing us. They're killing the people of Palestine, the people in the Congo, on our phones. And I've talked about these things over and over. And yet I see not a single shred of difference. People are like, oh, I'm only going to watch Usher. Usher stood with Israel. On October 7th, he made a statement. He said, I stand with Israel. Then he retracted it. He deleted it because he's like, oh, wait a minute. He was getting heat from his own people. Because we might be quietly for the cause, but we're not really for the cause, right? We're still supporting these same brands that I've told you. Bernard Arnault and his people, They are part of the problem. They support Cop City. Bernard, LVMH supports Cop City. And maybe, sure, maybe they've sold it to these black and brown celebrities as, well, you're going to be part of it too. You can eat too. But the reality is, I think we know this, they won't. They will drop you the second they can get rid of the rest of us. Because also, who supports you? We do. And I'm not going to tell you Jay-Z is a bad rapper. I'm not going to say that. I used to enjoy his music, but the person that he is, I'm like, oof, I can't be okay with that. Killer Mike's, the Ushers, the Beyonce, and all that she's done, and how she just keeps wanting to make more and more money. This billionaire capitalist mentality. This can't be it. We have to be willing to reach back for each other. We have to be willing to literally save humanity. We have to be the ones to do it because we have the power. We have the power collectively to do it. We have the power to change the system and change the way it works, but we're never willing to do it. We aren't willing to do it yet. I didn't look at my notes, and now I'm at my 30 minutes. So wait, let me look at my notes and make sure I said everything I wanted to say, because I went down a tangent, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I talked about the abortion laws. I talked about that. I didn't talk about Kentucky working on a bill that would allow people to kill other homeless people, but I want you to look that type of stuff up. The Supreme Court is also hearing a case to see about arresting people for sleeping outside. Homelessness is on the rise because of capitalism, because I talked about this before. The billionaires, the 1%, they are eating, they are living, they are making money like it's nobody's business. Meanwhile, they're creating these laws to not to end homelessness, which they can end homelessness, but they're not. They're creating these laws that you can kill a homeless person, you can be arrested if you're a homeless person. You know why? Because the prisons are now changing into full on labor forces. We've already talked about what they do in the prisons. The inmates make like the foods for McDonald's. I think I've talked about it. I hope I've talked about it. If I haven't, I want you to look into it for yourself. These things are happening in front of our eyes. Cop cities are popping up everywhere. And these cop cities are being trained by the same soldiers, the same Nazi Israel soldiers that are killing these people, putting their foot on their necks. We only saw a little tinge of that with that George Floyd situation. It is coming, and it is coming bigger, friends. But you guys don't want to hear it. Listen, I'm going to stop talking, because I think I did talk about everything. But if I didn't, I'll just make another episode, because who cares, right? It's my platform. I can do whatever I want. I really want you guys to consider joining. There's a group called General Strike. We need 11 million people to join. Oh my goodness, what's going on? We need 11 million people to join us. It is called the General Strike. Essentially, when we get to the 11 million people, there will be one big strike. And the reason why it's 11 million is because that's how many people are needed to create real change. 11 million people. We have all been doing our own little protests in silos. There's like the social change fund and this and all these little things have been happening, but it doesn't really create a ripple, because there's only like 100,000 or 200,000 or a million here or 1 million, 2 million there. We need 11 million people to join one cause. Malcolm X said it best. We are not outnumbered. We are out organized. If we can get 11 million people to join this one cause, we can literally break the system, and we need to break it before it's too late, because it is broken. We've lost God. We've lost, some of us, I'm starting to lose hope. I have not lost peace. I have nothing but peace, but I'm starting to lose hope. And I'm on this path of really wanting to liberate us mentally, emotionally, but also from this control that patriarchy has over us. Because if we don't, we will be living in really scary times. And I'm not a fear monger, and I don't want to place fear. I want to continue to have the hope that I have, that we can really change things. I think we just need to organize ourselves better, find center and root ourselves in God, because the churches have failed us, unfortunately. The pastors have failed us. Christianity is, it's scary what it's become. But I don't think it's going to stay that way. I do believe that we can change it. And that's it. You know, the routine, all the other stuff. You leave comments, good or bad. I will address the bad ones like I did today, which is how we got here. Good or bad, or criticisms or, you know, misunderstandings. I'm not going to call it a bad comment. I'm going to call it a misunderstanding because the person was not a long time listener and they don't know that I would never judge another Black woman. Leave comments, reviews, do all the good things, share. You know, I said before, I do not want to be viral on anybody's social media. I want to be viral quietly. That's how you really spread the word and spread the message. And that's it. I love you, Ma, and never forget, free Palestine.